here's me making another video about mental health. And most of the time when I do a video, I like to approach it from the perspective of going through something, learning something, and then offering what I've learned in order to help people. But I think, although that's a good thing, it's important to share our stories because that's how we help each other. I'm in a little bit more of a vulnerable place right at the moment, but I think it's equally as important that I show up like this. So last weekend, my two daughters, who are 19 and almost 21, came for a surprise visit with their boyfriends, and they brought my 86-year-old mom. And it was an amazing weekend. We had lots of fun. We were outdoors touring around and playing badminton in the backyard and having bonfires and eating s'mores. And it was amazing. It was the best I've felt since we moved here. And there's good and bad in that. The good was that I so needed my family. I needed to have that time with them. I needed to see them and laugh with them and to really feel good. But it also made me realize how not good I've been feeling and hiding it. This has been a big adjustment to move to Marathon, and I've had my ups and downs, and I've been trying to do everything I know how to do to adjust well to it. I meditate, I journal, I do yoga, I try to get outside every day, I walk Charlie, I go for long walks, we do at least an hour every day. I'm trying to do all the things I know how to do to take care of myself physically and mentally. And when something big happens, like losing Pooh Bear when we had to put her down, I processed it the best way I knew how, which was sharing my feelings in a video, and I got an outpouring of support, and it was very beneficial. But the thing I've recognized in this is that when everybody went home on Tuesday, I went on a downward spiral. I went into a very dark place. I was at a loss. I felt like my heart had left with my kids when they left. And I just felt empty and alone. And everything felt like a struggle. Nothing felt right. I cried all day. I knew I had to reach out to people, but I struggled to find the right people to reach out to. I did find the right people. But I also realized that it was time for me to go back to seeing a therapist again. I haven't seen one for probably 3 years now. And maybe that's part of the problem. I've been trying to navigate all of this on my own. And although it's important for you to be able to develop coping strategies and to be able to help yourself, it's also very important that you reach out for help from a mental health professional, because there's a lot of stuff we deal with in our life that we shouldn't be necessarily trying to deal with it all on our own. I have no shame in going to therapy. I believe in therapy. I've always benefited from it, and that's not the part I'm struggling with. The part I'm struggling with is that I really was so devastated on Tuesday when everybody went home. I just felt like a shell of a person. And what I've learned by speaking with my therapist is that I am still 90% of my problems is because I'm so self-judgmental and self-critical. which wasn't really a surprise to hear those words. But it was a surprise that I haven't been getting help with that. I get, I deal with the big things, but I wasn't dealing with the smaller everyday thing, which is this critical voice that's always in my head saying, you're not doing enough, you're not trying hard enough, you're not working enough, you're not doing it right. I call it my not enoughness. And even though I knew my not enoughness was there and it shows through at different times, it hit me full force on Tuesday. Because yes, it makes sense that I would miss my kids and my family when they left, but not to the point where I would feel shattered and not want to live my life. So here's my message. If you struggle with not enough, your not enoughness, you feel like you're not enough, the only way you're ever going to change that is to find a way to love yourself. You have to be kind to yourself, because I know when my not enoughness starts showing through, I am horrible to myself. I'm critical, I'm judgmental. I wake up and it's like there's a drill sergeant in my head telling me I have to try harder and do more and fight. And I think when it comes to not enoughness, it's not something you can fight. It's something that you have to surrender to. And you surrender to that by showing yourself the love and compassion that you show the people that you love. I have no problem loving and caring for my family, but I have a really hard time loving and caring for myself. And that's the lesson I've learned in all of this. I have to love and care for myself the way I love my daughters and the way I love my husband and my mom and my family and my dog. I treat my dog better than I treat myself. It doesn't matter how many people tell you you're enough or worthy or valid or cared for or whatever. If you don't believe it, none of those words matter. So the thing you have to do is figure out how to believe it for yourself. So when you're feeling like you're not enough, you need to treat yourself with kindness, first and foremost. Kindness and compassion, and be gentle with yourself. That is the only way you'll beat the not enoughness. Kindness, love, compassion. You have to treat yourself with the utmost reverence. That's the only way that I know that I can turn this around, because this shit has been going on for me all my life. And even when I make it look like I'm adjusting well and out there doing things and living my life, that critical voice has always been in the back of my head. Always. And maybe that's why I was so afraid to see my family leave me, because when they were here, that voice stopped. I was happy. I was peaceful. I was just living my life. And I knew that when they left, I'd be left alone with my thoughts, and that critical voice would come back in and kick the shit out of me. And that's exactly what happened. But to hear the therapist say that that's really at the root of my problems, I knew I had to find a way to deal with it. And none of the ways that I tried before had worked. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm treating myself with love and compassion and kindness, like I would to a child, like I would to my children, like I would to the little girl in me. Because that's what she needs. That's what I need. So If this is something that you struggle with, and I think there's a lot of women that do struggle with this, send me a message. We'll find things to love about ourselves together. We'll find ways to be kinder to ourselves together. We'll find ways to treat ourselves with compassion that we not only deserve, but that we require right now to get through this. I'm here for you. And I love you. And I love myself.